a little bit of backstory here. January 28th, okay, there's a Japanese telescope which is based in Hawaii.
Yes.
Okay, I'll bring it up here. So I'm going to show you some footage here. And it recorded these strange lasers coming from space.
Space lasers, dude.
I know. And by the way, it's called the Subaru telescope, Subaru Asahi telescope. So here it is slowed down slightly. You can see these laser pulses. Here's the contrast enhanced. You know, there we go. So you can see it. Now, of course, most people will be like, what the hell is this? What's going on?
Sure.
Okay. Initially, they suspected that it was coming from a NASA satellite, because there is a NASA satellite that has that uses lasers to determine the amount of ice, you know, on the globe or whatever, to keep track of global warming, that kind of nonsense, you know, some or other thing. But then NASA kind of pitched in and said, hey, no, bro, that wasn't us.
Yeah.
Stop slandering us.
It was almost like the knee-jerk thing. No, it's not Chinese. It's not Chinese. Right?
No, I mean,
everyone.
Remember, this is January 28th. So look, the timing is kind of important.
Yes.
Same time as that balloon's floating around. Mm-hmm. Okay, just saying, okay? This is a little bit odd.
Yes.
So eventually it comes out, and after doing a lot of tests, like tracing of trajectory and all that it was actually a Chinese satellite.
Yeah.
Okay, and it was a specific satellite, which we'll go into here.
Interesting Japanese there.
Yeah, I know, right? We'll tell you why.
It was a civilian laser pointer,
right? Sure. Coming from space.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. All right. So this is on April 15th is when this specific Chinese satellite, which is called the AEMS, which is
That's when it went up.
Yeah, it went up on the 15th of April 2022. It's actually its Chinese name is the Dachi Yihao, which means atmosphere 1. Yeah. Dachi means big air, which is Chinese for atmosphere.
That's correct.
Because, you know, what do you do when you're Chinese? You're like, this is chi, air. What do you call that up there? It's big. It's big air.
It's very literal language.
It is.
That's what I kind of love about Mandarin is that it's so literal.
So literal, yeah. Okay, so let's take a look. This is the Dachi Yihao was launched, you know, from Shanxi province.
Yep.
And let's take a look because it'll show you in this lovely, typical of Chinese space stuff. It's very CG orientated. We'll be able to see what this thing is supposed to do. All right. So wait for this long burnout. Okay, there we go. This is their lovely satellite.
From state media.
Well, this is from the actual Chinese
space,
you know, a center for space, this and that. And it's kind of their NASA, right?
Yeah.
So you can see what it's doing here is it's firing lasers down, okay? And this is supposed to be a CO2 laser. It's supposed to be the first satellite with a CO2 laser detection capability.
And you can see that's actually China below it.
Yeah.
In the demo.
Yeah. That can realize all day and high precision detection of carbon dioxide.
And
okay.
PM 2.5.
Yeah. So what you're seeing there is they're basically shooting a laser at a city.
Yeah.
I'll explain how all this works in a minute. But this is correct. This is a real instrument, okay? Yeah. And what you can do is, you know, depending on the frequency of the laser that gets shut down, it's a LiDAR system, which is very, very good for this kind of thing. It can detect particulates in the air, and so it can kind of give you a reading on how much pollution is in whatever area.
Yeah, useful.
So very useful. Useful if you want to keep track of pollution levels in certain cities or whatever the case, right?
Which China literally hides. They literally stuff cotton inside of the AQI sensors so that people can't see how much pollution there is.
So here you can see in their demo, by the way, again, shooting lasers back and forth into China. That's China on the map over there. So this is their official sort of launch thing about this, bragging about, it can detect CO2. So I thought, hey, I'm going to go to this, what is it? China Aerospace Science and Technology Corporation.
This is their NASA.
Yeah, it's their NASA. I'm going to go to their website. I'm going to see if I can find out a little bit about this thing, right?
Because it's weird that they're shooting lasers. This is the satellite shooting lasers at Hawaii.
Yeah.
I just want everyone to understand. There's a lot of people that are tuning in. China shot lasers from a satellite into Hawaii. You tried to figure out why, like perhaps why, right?
Now, this is kind of interesting. So you go to their website, their English website, okay? Yeah. Here you can see it on the screen. Doesn't that look nice? So like
Yeah, it looks
Oh, space
simple.
systems, defense systems, space technology, space services, exchanges and cooperation. It looks very nice. So I thought, hey, let's go and see the Chinese version of this website. So you click Zhongwenban up there.
Right.
Bam. And it's like, what is this? The Soviet
website.
Union?
Yeah, it's
you
the
know?
same website.
Yeah.
But now all of a sudden it's military application.
Yeah, it's about how we can boost the Communist Party, you know?
Don't know why I became a terrorist.
It's like, yeah, exactly. Look, nuclear warheads or whatever.
Like, what? Like, if that doesn't show the difference in intent
Yes.
for Western audience, or I should say the outside world.
This is how China works, yeah.
It is. This is why we speak so passionately about like what the Chinese government does, is because we saw it from the inside.
Yeah.
What China tells its own people is very different from what they tell you.
Yeah, look at the doves. It's got the gold doves.
It's a key feature.
Yeah, every single propaganda
CCP website.
crap from CCP's got doves in it, man.
Yes.
It's cringe.
This is the same website, guys.
This is exactly the
NASA
same.
equivalent.
So there's a reason I'm showing you this. Is like you were saying, is it shows you that these things like the Great Translation Movement and so on, they hate them so much because they actually expose this.
Yes.
They expose the fact that to the outside world, China's all got a very friendly face, more or less, except the wolf warrior shit. But then internally on the Chinese internet, they're vicious and very different, and they treat the outside world terribly. So you look at this very nationalistic, very militaristic, very sort of unfriendly looking website.
Yeah, it looks like a war poster.
It does.
You know what I mean? It looks like a Soviet war
look
poster.
at that. That's like those are the ones they sold to North Korea, by the way. Those sort of mobile launch units or whatever.
Good job.
So anyway, I was like, okay, let's go back to the English version of this website. There we go. Oh, it looks so nice, doesn't it? It's just so like social responsibility it has up there. And then I'm going down and I'm looking here and I'm like, what is this? Exchanges and cooperation.
Interesting.
And then you just take a look at this, and it's like, for the purpose of peacefully utilizing space technology and serving economic and social development, CASC greatly promote development of international cooperation programs. And I'm thinking, this is just like
such a thing.
this is just like all these shills and all this nonsense these days.
Thing.
We have to build bridges. Let's work together. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, it's like we're developing a powerful world-class military.
Yeah.
If you translate some of those things on the Chinese website, it's like helping to build a world-class, powerful military.
I can make two amazing recent analogies.
What's
COVID.
that? Mm-hmm.
We are trying to make sure that we send PPE across the world so we can save the rest of the world. Because China, we have the correct response and we'll help you, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we hope everyone dies. Look at everyone die. Official state media. Well, look at all the millions dying in India. This is awesome.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, look, this is on their Chinese website. It's like just showing.
Another recent example.
Yeah.
Balloon, right?
Yeah.
It's not. There's nothing wrong with this balloon. It's totally peaceful and civilian and stuff.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we shot down the balloon and crushed the enemy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I really hate the fact that they've got all this like, and this is how they dupe all these stock bros to invest or whatever.
Yeah.
Because they're like so peaceful and nice on their English website. They're like cooperation, and we strive to the peace and the cooperate and all this nonsense.
Biggest wolf in sheep's clothing of all
you
time.
go into their Chinese website, they're bloody bragging about their, nuclear launch platforms and stuff that they're doing. And
This is what the space program
UAVs
is used
and
for.
stuff. Yeah. NASA's not like that.
No.
NASA doesn't have like a Chinese version of its page that says like, China's amazing, we love you. And then on the other side, it's like, defeat them with space-based lasers. Yeah.
I know.
It's like,
It's insane.
anyway, so I finally did track down on their website the Dachi 1 atmospheric monitoring satellite. This is before it was completed, of course.
Sure.
And it's basically supposed to be something to go up there and just monitor the atmosphere and all that sort of thing, which sounds very benign.
Yeah.
Sounds like redundant, since there are already plenty of things like that out there.
But why? Let me bring it back.
Mm-hmm.
This is the exact satellite that you've pinpointed, right?
Yeah.
Why is it shooting green lasers at Hawaii?
Yeah, I'm going to bring that up in a
I know.
minute.
I'm everyone that's new here.
So it
figuring this
combines both passive and active sensing, which can realize comprehensive monitoring of the atmospheric environment in a better way, according to the chief designer. Okay, so this is the premise behind this thing. Okay. Now it's got an ACDL, which is aerosol and carbon dioxide detection LiDAR.
Okay.
And this is the device that is emitting this laser. Okay. But now, if you know anything about LiDAR technology, which is light detection and ranging, I believe, and make sure I'm not making a mistake with that.
It's fine.
I'm not an expert on this stuff, so I just want to make sure. Yeah, it is light detection and ranging. How it works is it shoots a laser at something and it bounces back to the sensor, and then of course it uses the calculations depending on how far away, how long it takes to come back to see the distance of something.
It's basically to see texture and depth of things, see beyond something.
Yeah, it's like sonar.
Yeah.
It's like
But with
radar.
LiDAR, it's
the same thing, but with lasers.
using light. Yeah.
But it's got some very interesting abilities. And so what you can do is you can actually map very accurately the topography of things.
Yeah,
okay?
very interesting.
But because it's a laser, it can actually go through, and especially if you adjust the frequencies of the laser, it can go through vegetation, just like light goes through the trees.
Almost like an X-ray.
Well, yeah, I mean, think about it, though. If you're in a forest and you're sitting there and you see the light bleeding through the trees,
Yeah.
well, this can do the same thing. So
It's
go,
mapping.
Yeah, it can go through the vegetation, and it'll bounce off the leaves. And here's an interesting thing. Okay, what you're seeing over here is commercial LiDAR.
Yeah.
Which you can, for instance, in the States here, you can hire a LiDAR company. It's very expensive, but they can come out and say, map your farm. Okay, if you're going to do some construction or something.
Yeah. Sees through the vegetation.
Yeah, take a look. Here you can see the vegetation, but with LiDAR, you can actually see the bare ground and, more importantly, any structures beneath the vegetation. Because what happens is the laser penetrates and goes through all these gaps in the leaves and so on, and hits the ground and gives you a kind of a good idea of what's underneath the vegetation.
You picture you're a farmer,
Yeah.
you're sitting there like, I wonder what's in this forest,
Yeah.
right? Let's say you've just bought a plot of land with 10,000 acres, right?
Yeah.
There's a whole part where you can't even tell what's going on. You hire the LiDAR company to come do that
Yeah.
for you. But I have very sneaking suspicions that could be used for something else.
Sure. I mean, like, look, for instance, this is also another commercial. I got this off of I think they're called Phoenix Technology,
This is
something like that.
fascinating.
So here's you got vegetation in front of this dam, but then this is also a LiDAR readout, by
Yeah,
the
this
way.
is not a photo.
And you adjust the frequency, and then you can actually see without the vegetation what's there.
Yeah.
So,
It's an X-ray.
I mean, think about it from a military application. This is great because you
Yeah.
can see exactly where structures are to target them. You can see
Like a dam.
Yeah, you can see where there are good places to hide in vegetation. If you wanted to say mountain invasion or something like that, it's very, very useful. As you can see, this Phoenix LiDAR systems here. You can see how
Fascinating.
you can
You can
adjust.
strip away the topography.
Yeah. Of course, depending on the kind of frequencies and whatnot that you use, it's a very advanced mapping tool.
Yeah, look at what you can see compared to a GoPro. The GoPro, you can't see shit.
Yeah, no. The whole point of this is that you can later extrapolate
Yeah.
different data points and
I'm
use
saying to the human eye.
Yeah,
You know?
and you can analyze the heights of whatever. You can even see if there's like shrubbery
Yeah.
beneath tree canopies. There's a lot you can do with
Yeah.
LiDAR technology. Not saying that's what that satellite was doing, but I'm saying it's possible.
It's also wicked weird.
Yeah.
The timing too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, the timing's strange. Also, why, if this is a pollution monitoring satellite, why are they firing it over Hawaii?
And Mauna Kea, the volcano there. But the thing is, something I want people to. That I was reading.
Yeah.
People were saying, oh, they caught the footage was taking of the LiDAR coming down over Mauna Kea, the volcano, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that's the only thing that they scanned.
No, it could have. It's broad spectrum. They could have. They were probably,
could
scanning
go-
the whole thing.
It could go far.
Yeah, that's
right?
just the only one that was caught on
Yes.
camera at that particular time.
So potential applications, like I don't understand why you're testing this satellite laser on a foreign country, especially an adversarial country. You understand?
Well, I mean, look, let's also just be real about this. Hawaii is where there are a lot of military bases. I mean, think about it. Pearl Harbor, everybody knows Pearl Harbor's there. Not only Pearl Harbor, but many different.
It's a very important base.
It's a very sensitive military, strategic military outpost for the United States, Hawaii. Okay, it's not just the place where the worst pizza was ever invented with pineapples on it. Okay, it actually is a very strategic place, and so it's very coincidental that you've got a spy balloon flying over this Montana where they've got all those missile launchers and
silos,
stuff, and like all these sensitive military things. And at the exact same time, a Chinese atmospheric monitoring satellite is bombarding
for topography.
Yeah, it was
Hawaii.
bombarding Hawaii with LiDAR.
Yeah.
Like,
What's going on?
Yeah, what's happening here?
We need answers. Like, that's the
I
thing.
mean, come on, guys. Like, is it really, were they really trying to get smog readings in the middle of the night in Hawaii?
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You know, until there's an official response, obviously. I'm the last person to ever jump on something and say this is absolutely was going to be used for military invasion purposes. But there's so much weird shit that has been unfolding the past few weeks. Coming from China.
I just think
insane.
it's too coincidental.
It's too weird.
Because look, the thing is with LiDAR is the visible spectrum that you saw there, the green part there, you know, with LiDAR, it operates on many different spectrums and frequencies, and you cannot see most of them.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
You could see that particular one.
Sure.
So who knows what else they've been doing and mapping over there, and why are they mapping Hawaii, and why are they doing this on Hawaii exactly at this particular time? That's really the question.
Yeah.
Is this kind of internationally acceptable, you know? I don't know what the rules are as far as this is concerned, but the fact that this is happening at the same time is what's very, very strange about this whole thing. And it needs to be looked into, not just brushed off. And especially the fact that right in the beginning, people are like, oh, it's just NASA. You know, it's irresponsible.
It was very widely believed to be NASA in the beginning. And I think that's a huge issue. That sentiment pervaded.
Yeah.
And that's an issue, right?
Yeah.
This was a Chinese satellite. Now, we're not experts on this by any means, right? But it's one thing to keep an eye on, and I hope there's an official response about it.
Yeah.
Just like the spy balloon, right?
And just remember that this is supposed to be an atmospheric monitoring LiDAR that's supposed to pick up CO2 particles. But, of course, it can be repurposed. Of course. It's a LiDAR system, okay?
Well, you could use it for whatever you want, right?
Yeah. The technology is there for you to use it for topographic mapping and for whatever else you wanted to do there. And the fact that it's being flown over and you know, shot over Hawaii is something that needs to be paid attention to.
Yeah, I'm assuming the relevant parties are paying attention to it. But it would be interesting to see what China's response is to this at some point. I mean, yes, we were very concerned about Mauna Kea's CO2 emissions at night. You know what I mean? Like, what it wasn't. It was a civilian laser pointer. Like, what do you say at that point?
Yeah, and exactly. There's not much you can say. And also remember, that's just the only time it was caught on camera.
Yeah.
Okay, so behind the camera, it wasn't caught.
No.
And it's been sweeping the whole place.
That's another big problem I have. Not to bring that up again, but there's so many people that are looking at the one instance that was captured, like you showed in that footage that was enhanced.
Yeah.
From that Japanese telescope.
And also remember that the majority of these LiDAR laser beams aren't visible to the naked eye.
That's what I was trying to say, is that was the only thing captured to your eyes, so that's what your brain processes as the only instance of it happening.
Yeah.
When in fact it probably just wasn't the case. It was probably a wide scale.
Yeah.
You know.
Probably happening full time all the time.
Yeah.